Hi everyone, this is Nikki, the Van Mystic, and today I have your weekly energy Tarotcast video for the week of August 13th, 2018. Today I am using the Illuminated Tarot deck by Carol Hertzer. Some of you have seen me use it on Instagram and have been asking me about it. It's a beautiful deck. So we're going to get started by looking at the energy that we should be expecting as a collective, as a group for this week, for my Instagram and YouTube community. So what energy is coming in for us this week? Five of Wands. Okay, so a little bit chaotic this week. Perhaps we feel like we have a lot of ideas going on in our head that are kind of competing thoughts, competing ideas, competing feelings that are making us feel a little bit overwhelmed and a little bit conflicted. So whether this is an internal experience for you or whether this manifests as an external experience for you, that's going to be individual to every single person. So, if there's a lot of conflict in the air, watch out for people trying to pick arguments with you out of nowhere, or watch out for you trying to pick arguments with yourself that don't really make any sense. So, expect like a little bit of tension in the air this week with the Five of Wands. Okay, cool. So how can we best work with and integrate that Five of Wands energy into our week? How can we work with that feeling of conflict, feeling of tension, maybe just a feeling that we have too much going on? How can we best work with that as a group this week? The Chariot. Okay, cool. So take control of your situation. If you feel like you have a lot of competing thoughts, for example, going on this week, and you just don't really know what direction to turn, the Chariot really asks you to get grounded and get real with yourself. Think about making a list of all of the options that you have instead of just keeping them in your head and letting them float around. And then, with that list, trying to figure out all the pros and cons, that come up with each potential choice that you have. If you face a conflict with another person or another group, for example, this week, take control of that situation in any way that you can, or at least take control of your own emotions and your own experience within that situation. Really ask yourself, what do I want to get out of this? How do I get from point A to point B? And write down or plan out in some way how you're going to get there so that you can resolve this conflict and you can move on from it and you can get on with your week for yourself so that you can have the best possible week that you can have. So really take control of your situation. Don't let yourself get overwhelmed by, the tension or the feelings of conflict or overwhelm that you may be faced with this week. Really intentionally recognize what's happening and set out a plan for yourself so that you can have a better experience this week for yourself. Awesome. So where should our focus be as a group this week? So I always say every week, this is basically what's in our control. The energy is not really in our control, but right now we're asking the universe, spirit, the great mystery, where our focus should be intentionally this week as a group. So where should our focus be this week of August 13th? Boop. Two of Discs. Okay, finding balance within our lives, whatever that may mean for you. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, like you're juggling too much, this goes back to that same exact thought. And probably that Chariot mentality can also come in here with this Two of Discs, because this is about figuring out how to juggle all the different things that you have going on, trying to ask yourself what you can let fall away, what you need to bring in. Maybe you need to ask somebody for help in some area of your life or with some problem, challenge, or conflict that you have. How can you make your situation better for yourself? How can you more easily handle all the stuff that you have going on this week? So really put your focus and your intention into organizing your week in a way that you don't feel so overwhelmed that you just don't even want to do anything, or you just want to get in bed and hide. Just face it. Face your problems, face your challenges, face your stress, your conflicts, or your feelings of overwhelm, and just know that you can do it, but you got to put a plan to it. Okay, cool. So where should our focus not be this week as a group? So this might be sort of like the stuff that comes up that distracts us and ends up taking our attention away, but it's really not serving our highest and best. So what should we let fall away this week? Where should our focus not be as a group? Where should our focus not be? What do we need to turn away from this week as a group? Knight of Wands. Okay, cool. So the Knights tend to do things without thinking about them too much, and so this would really be a call for you to stop and think before you charge into anything, as you can see he's doing on this horse in a very fiery and passionate manner. So even if you get super excited about an idea or going for something, or you get super excited about 5 or 10 ideas that you have and about going for all of those things, there is really a call to make sure that you have properly planned what you're doing, that you have set out kind of boundaries and steps for yourself so that you can actually accomplish what you want to do this week, instead of getting too excited about 1 or 20 or however many things that you have going on and not really accomplishing any of them, and again just getting overwhelmed and not really having the best possible week that you can have. So really stop and think before you dive into things. Try not to just get like super excited about something and just like go for it, because if you're juggling a lot, it could end up sort of taking your attention away or putting your attention in the wrong place and fizzling out for you. So try to be a little bit more methodical, practical about your planning and about all the things that you have to juggle this week, just so that you can manage everything for yourself and you don't end up getting stressed. Cool, so what's our overall lesson for this week? What is this week really about for us as a group? What are we learning? What is the biggest learning that we're getting out of this week? Okay. Biggest learning from this week. There she is. Ooh, yeah. High Priestess. That's awesome. So our biggest learning about this week is to really take time to go within, ask ourselves what we really need, ask ourselves what we really want, and make sure that we're following our own inner voice instead of just kind of like picking all the things that are thrown at us and trying to go in a million different directions, getting caught up in conflict or drama, whether it be our own or somebody else's. So let's dig really deep this week, go deep within ourselves. Maybe we take some extra time to spend alone so that we can meditate on it or journal about it, make some lists for ourselves, really just get silent with ourselves, ground ourselves, and figure out what we need to have the best week that we can have. So this is about listening to ourselves and our own intuition and taking time to hear that little voice in your head that's telling you this is either not a good idea or this is a really good idea. So I hope that's really helpful for you guys this week. I hope you had a beautiful weekend. Happy Sunday. And yeah, that's it. Bye.